Hello, friends. Welcome to our rainy night talk. Today, let's talk about money. Money is a good thing, but sometimes it can burn people to death. The old saying, a big tree attracts the wind, but wealth is not shown, is not outdated at all. The story we're going to talk about today is one that ended up showing off itself because of being too showy. In Dieter City, there's a street called Kerr where every inch of land is valuable, and it's full of influential people. There was a rich man here named Metafu who already had a decent house, but he was not satisfied and insisted on demolishing it and building a boutique house. To put it bluntly, it's just showing off. He had a good friend, Detective IG, who advised him, "Old friend, there are countless eyes watching a person's property. Don't be too flamboyant." Mr. May wouldn't listen at all, saying it was in the city of Dieter, not in the wild. What was there to be afraid of? IG couldn't make sense, so he just let him go. Later, IG took on a big international case and was going on a long journey. Before leaving, he said 4 words to Mr. May. "Good luck." You think about it, the 4 words are full of meaning. Half a year later, when IG finished his case and picked up the newspaper to relax, a big headline hit him in the eye. The mansion on Kerr Street in Dit City turned into a haunted house. Owner Metafa died on the night he moved in. A sudden death. Ego's heart gave a jolt. How could an old friend, who had just moved into the new house, suddenly die? There must be something going on. IG made a quick decision and flew straight back to Dieter. Without going back to his house, he headed straight for the new mansion. Wow, that's amazing. But as he looked at the glaring mansion, the ominous premonition in his heart grew stronger and stronger. He sighed, muttering in Old Chinese saying, "The meat in a bun is not in the pleats." Old friend, are you afraid that there are too few people jealous of you? He entered through the gate, with congratulatory scraps of paper scattered on the grass, but black curtains and white flowers hung on the main gate, and the joy and sorrow were so jumbled together that it made one's heart tremble. As soon as he entered the door, Mei Difu's only son, little Mei Difu, threw himself at him and wailed. The child, who was studying abroad, came back after receiving the bad news. Igu comforted the child a few words and went to bid farewell to his old friend's body. He looked closely at Mei Difu's pupils and had a clear idea in his mind. He called little Metafu into a secluded room and said straightforwardly, "Your father died an abnormal death." He was extremely frightened. Iger went on to analyze. It must have been someone who had an eye on the new house and wanted to buy it, knowing that your father would definitely not sell it, and thus devised to scare him to death. They will do the same against you. You won't be scared when you're young, but you won't dare to live there anymore. Will there be any other options besides selling the house then? Little Mai Difu finally came to his senses. Are they going to buy? Wouldn't that catch them? Yes. IG was quite confident. I won't let them get away. That move is called luring the snake out of its hole. He had little Metafu put up an advertisement to sell the house at an unreasonably low price. The advertisement was an invitation specifically for the murderer. Who would dare to buy this haunted house? But a man with a ghost in his heart would buy it, because he knew better than anyone that there was no ghost in the house. The so-called evil was directed by him. But 3 days passed, and not even a single question was asked. Little Mai Difu couldn't hold back his patience. IG wasn't in a hurry. He said, "The people who want to buy, the people we're waiting for, are waiting for us to lower the price again. Besides, if I were here, he wouldn't dare to come. I have to disappear first and find enough evidence. Little Metafu is anxious. What if they come to harm me again? IG said, "Don't worry, I'll find you a helper, my friend, Hall, who is both a broker and a detective, not conspicuous." With that, IG made a phone call. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the doorbell rang. IG seemed very excited and pulled little Metafu out, but there was no one outside. IG wouldn't give up and pressed the button to open the door. Just then, a black Audi car whooshed in, its window rolled down, and a pistol poked out. Little Metafu shouted, "Watch out!" But it's not too late. With a bang, Iger fell to the ground, clutching his chest, blood gushing out. By the time little Metafu looked up again, the black car had vanished. He quickly called a car to take IG to the hospital. Coincidentally, the driver happened to be Yig's friend and said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of him." IG, still holding his breath, said, "Don't worry. Mr. Hall before dark. Come at once." Then the car drove away. You say, how complete is this play? Even little Metafu was stunned, let alone the murderer who was watching secretly. When he heard that the great detective IG was dead, his heart swelled up. Sure enough, an hour later the doorbell rang again. The servant brought in a man, and little Maidifu felt a chill in his heart when he saw him. The man, bald, lame, mustached, and dazed, claimed to be Hall. Little matey thought to himself, "Oh no, why did Uncle IG introduce me to such a guy? But for now, there's nothing else to do. I can only treat a dead horse as a living one." Mr. Hall, however, is so confident that he can catch every single thing he says. The two slept in the same room that night. Hall snored as soon as his head touched the pillow, and little Metafu couldn't sleep. In the middle of the night, he was woken up by a sound, and, seeing Hall sleeping so soundly, he took out his gun and tiptoed out of the door. Just as he reached the corner of the corridor, his wrist was seized and his gun was taken away. Just as he was about to shout, he discovered that the man was Hall. Hall said to him, "It's fine outside. Go back to sleep." Little Medif walked back, wondering to himself, "Isn't he sleeping?" When he returned to the room, he saw that Hall's bed was covered with a blanket folded into a human shape. Little Metafu had a shudder in his heart. Was this Hall real or not? Finally, at dawn, the servant reported that the buyer had come. It was a young man in his early 30s, carrying a safe. As soon as the man entered the house, he sat down and said, "I'll buy this house without bargaining. Is the money ready?" Hall asked. The man snapped open the password box, and it was full of banknotes. Hall picked up a stack, smoothed it, and said with a smile, "It's time to go through the formalities." Little Metafu rolled his eyes in anger. Hall took out the contract, they signed it, and Hall politely handed the pen to the buyer. At that very moment, little Medif noticed a glimmer of joy in both Hall's and the buyer's eyes. He immediately understood that the two were in the same gang. Just as the buyer was about to sign, Meidifu shouted, "I'm not selling this house." As soon as he finished speaking, Hall's wrist trembled and a pair of handcuffs snapped onto the buyer's hand. Before little Meidifu could understand, the buyer pulled a scallion on the dry ground and jumped onto the table, slamming against the window. With a clang, the window broke and the man flew out. Hall and little Medif rushed to the window and saw that the man had fallen to the ground. A carp had leaped up, but had not run a few steps before he fell again. Just as he was wondering, another man jumped out of the yard, pushed his foot against the man's chest and held a gun against his forehead. Hall said to little Medif, "Let's go down and see," and strode down. Little Medifu followed behind, stunned. How could his foot not be lame? Looking again, he saw that Hall had pulled off his balding mask and mustache as he ran. Now, little Medifu understood. What Hall? Isn't that IG? When he reached the courtyard, the man had been completely subdued. IG sneered at him. "I'm here, and you dare not come. You think I've been killed, and you dare to come. Alas, I'm fine, waiting for you." The man was stubborn. "I'm here to buy a house. Why should you arrest me? I had friends keep an eye on it before I went abroad." "You're the one who cares most about this building," said IG. "With the advertisement, you came more often. Isn't that enough? Your mistress has taken everything." The man was stunned. Little Medifu saw that the man had shackles on his feet and understood why he kept falling. IG pointed to the helper beside him and said, "This is the real Mr. Hall. It was he who shot me yesterday, of course. The gun was empty and the blood was fake. The driver who took me to the hospital was also a friend of mine. I later came back disguised as Hall, and my real Hall friend went to find the buyer's mistress. And with a bluff, that silly girl told it all." Little Medifu was still puzzled. "Then when did you discuss all this?" IG patted Zen Hall on the shoulder and said with a smile, "This is our secret." "So, after hearing the story, did you all taste it? The most terrifying thing in the world is never a haunted house, but the wailing house in the human heart, where the evil spirits of greed and jealousy live. Medifu's mansion has become his own house of wailing. The greed in the murderer's heart also led him to let out a howl of remorse in the end. Money is something you can neither bring with you when you are born nor take with you when you die. Is it worth sacrificing yourself for it?" The last words that IG said to little Medifu, I think, make a lot of sense. Whether to sell or live in the house, you decide. But don't forget, you still have to go back and study. See, material wealth may bring death, but the knowledge and wisdom in your mind are the wealth that no one can take away and that will protect you for a lifetime. Well, that's all for today's Rainy Night Talk. Thank you all for listening.